Hi, fellow lights and light travelers. This week's reading, I felt called to do a dive into the month ahead. So I am releasing this in April. So for those watching now, it'll be for the month of May. For those that come across this later, know that Spirit, your guides, are sending you this when you need it. So if it's October, it's for November, or however that works for you. So take what resonates, leave the rest. Know that you have the full willpower. This is how the energies stand now, but you are the creator. And that definitely came through in this, that you are the creator, you have the power, and you're doing the work. So good job. Sending you all light. I hope you enjoy this. Look at your month ahead. Hello, fellow lights and light travelers. Welcome again to Light Journeys Tarot. I really appreciate your being here with me again and tuning in. If this message is reaching you, there's probably something here that's trying to get to you from your guides, from the universe, from source. As always, I like to preface everything saying, right, you have free will. I like to read the energies as they currently stand. Don't let myself or anyone else tell you that everything is locked and nothing can change. The universe is fluid, right? The choices that you make in your free will affect the outcomes of everything. So what I always like to do is invite in my guides, invite in, the higher vibrational beings and sources and energy to bring through a message for your highest good. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest, okay? As this is a collective reading, there may be some things in for you, some things in for someone else. Maybe everything matches. Maybe one or two things come through. Just take what resonates, leave the rest. And I always encourage you to go forth making choices from the heart in a grounded way for the highest good of yourself and all. So with that being said, today I was, drawn to pull on what's coming for the month ahead. So I'm releasing this late April. So this would be for May. But if you come across this in the future, October, it'll be for November. If it's for, August, September, however it is that it falls for you. When this video reaches you, it is resonant for you. Take what resonates, leave the rest. With that being said, I wanted to use this deck, and let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see what it has for us. Spirit, what wants to come through for this collective for the month ahead? What wants to come through for this collective for the month ahead? What wants to come through? What messages want to come through for this collective for the month ahead? Okay, feeling called to stop. We have the Goddess. We have the Chariot. And we have the Two of Swords. Move this over for right now so it's nice in the middle. Okay, let's get into it. If you're new here, I like to read one by one. We read together, and then I'll pull two oracle cards if Spirit wants to bring through some extra messages. So let's get into it. The Empress, or the Goddess in this case, is a card about nurturing and receiving in connection to the earth, right? The birthing of new things. This feels like starting forth, right? I'm getting a lot of connection, right? I'm seeing an overflow when I pull into this picture. I'm first drawn to the cascading water. So it feels like, and there's also a lot of earth here. So there's a cascading overflow kind of river, I'm thinking in Junke, rainforest, rainfalls, rivering of love and emotion, a current that's currently flowing through you, that's coming towards you, that the universe and source and spirit is inviting you to allow in that nurturing connection, okay? Something is wanting to be birthed within you. So this could be any number of things, and we'll read as we go through to see if something more clear comes through. But this could be a new relationship. This could be a love of self, first and foremost, right? Before we go trying to nurture anything with anyone else, we want to pull that love into self, that care into self, right? When you walk through this world, having done the work to heal, to love yourself, you walk with this air of, I love myself enough to know what's good and know what's not good, and to put up boundaries for things that don't serve my highest good. And then you build relationships and bonds that are healthier because you're meeting with people that are like that. And the people that are not yet there at that point in their journey then, are called to do the work or not do the work, right? We all have free will in their journeys and do their healing, right? So it feels first and foremost, I feel like this is you and you're being called to nurture into yourself. And this is in a grounded way. So because there's so much earth here, this feels like something sturdy and steady. This could be that you've been doing the work, right? That you've been working on yourself, that you've been working on healing, and perhaps you're finally feeling that overflow, that connection, that abundance. This could be spiritually. This could be, it finally feels like things are flowing in the right direction in your life because you're feeling aligned. You've been putting in that work of love to yourself, right? We are all reflections of the universe. So in doing that work to yourself, you are then thus reflecting it to the universe, and you are loving the universe because you are. Nothing is separate. You are the same thing. We are all one. So in loving yourself, you are loving all, right? And in moving through the world more lovingly because you've given that self-love, it emanates, it radiates that frequency to all, right? That peaceful, that loving, sometimes you meet people and they just got that good vibe and they feel light, right? The reason you are called here, I say, hello, fellow lights and light travelers. You are on a light journey and you are a light. And this is telling me that you're doing that work to recognize it, right? We are all light, whether people realize it or not. We are all in that divine love and connection. But this shows that you've been grounding and nurturing into yourself and stepping into that goddess energy or that empress energy and loving yourself and holding yourself to like, yes, I deserve this love. I give myself love and thus I radiate love. So this is congratulations, because this feels like you finally have felt like, oh, I'm doing this. I can feel it. I can feel it. I am doing this. And I'm happy for you to be at this point and just continue to do that work. The more we live in harmony, the better and the healthier we'll move each of us through this world, and thus eventually all of us together. Yeah. I love this Taina goddess that they have here in this card. Beautiful. With the Chariot, there's a moving forward, there's momentum, there's action, right? It feels like in this coming month, you, in stepping into and having done the work, right, of that healing, of that loving, of that continual nurturing into yourself and setting boundaries where you need, right? And in holding yourself like the goddess, this doesn't have to be gendered. I want to say, it says empress, I'm saying goddess, like the empowered being, right? If we don't want to use genders, or if you want to use male, the god, you know what I mean? The emperor. In this case, we're saying empress because it's that nurturing energy, but in the empowered, nurtured being that you are and the work that you are doing, right? To include everybody in this collective. I don't want anybody to feel out. And stepping into this energy, there's now this forward momentum, right? It's driving forth energies and actions and pathways in your life. So this is definitely reminds me of pathways. The first thing I'm drawn to in this photo is the two horses. So the fact that they're black and white, I immediately thought of a yin and a yang, a balance, right, that's coming through. What I love about this is it feels like, I just keep hearing balance. So what came into my head was, the white horse has, the black things, the harness, and I'm not sure what this is called, but like the harness pieces in black, and then the black horse has the harness pieces and everything in white. So there's this balance of neither is better. There's this working together and movement forward because you've had this inner nurturing and divine, empowered, loving, nurturing self work that you've been doing. You are creating a balance which is pushing you forward in your life, right? The wind has picked up in your sails. Like, look at the character here, the gentleman, his coattails are flying up, right? He looks steady though. He's not losing balance. He's not being taken off course. There's a steady direction coming through and a balance because of the work that you've been doing, and a forward movement. And you're swiftly getting to the places that you want to get to. So within this next month, because of this work that you've been doing, you're being carried forward to new heights, to new destinations. New pathways are opening up for you, and you're going to be heading forward to a destination not yet known. Perhaps it'll be said a little bit here, but movement forward on perhaps things that in the previous chapters of your life you felt maybe the effort has taken longer, but it feels like in nurturing yourself and getting aligned, you're creating that forward path, that movement, that swiftness, that forward motion. So this is good. All right. So here is where Spirit steps in and saying, we see you. You are seen and witnessed by the universe in the work that you have been doing in nurturing yourself and loving yourself. And there is a flow. And that is creating a pathway and a forward movement that's taking you to new pathways and new destinations that you haven't even yet imagined, right? Maybe you have and you're manifesting that, or maybe you haven't even imagined how beautiful and grand these pathways are opening to you. But there is a mindfulness to an invitation to not let yourself get stuck in indecision. So this feels like in the mental space, right? Swords are air, it's mental. This feels like you could fall. There is a past. I'm going to stop and think about this. There was a past version of yourself that you are working through and beyond, yeah. And in that past version of yourself, as we are all human, there is a tendency to, get stuck in those mental battles of, can this happen? What do I need to make it happen? Overthinking, indecision. This feels like you're wrestling with yourself. Whereas the universe is inviting you to trust and know that you're moving forward. It is also saying be mindful, because there are versions, old patterns that you are working through that exist in this mindset. So not to let this mindset of indecision block you. I feel like, as I'm drawn to this again, you will defeat that indecision, right? I feel like your character is this one, you're jousting and you're beating the indecision. The pattern may or may not come up, but if you recognize it and say, I'm not doing this anymore, touche, you know what I mean, on guard, boom, we're done, we're not doing this, I'm not playing this game, we're not falling back into the same mental trap, okay? I'm trusting that I've been doing the work. I'm nurturing myself. I am in a flow state. I am in a flow. I am in that goddess, that empress, that divine being, okay, that is loving myself. And I am grounded, and I am being moved forward swiftly to destinations and pathways that either I have always dreamed of or I couldn't even imagine, and they're so wonderful. So I'm going to recognize if something like this comes up again, and I'm going to defeat it and I'm going to push it to the side, because this version of myself doesn't serve anymore. I'm not going to let myself get stuck into a loop with myself of overthinking, right? I'm going to see things from a higher vantage point, from that clock tower, okay? I'm going to listen to the chimes in the distance and the bells ringing, right? Those frequencies. I'm going to be on a higher frequency. I'm going to be on a higher frequency, right? We've got that calling to you. I'm not going to live in this space. I'm going to go above, and I'm going to move forward. So beautiful. All right, let's see which oracle decks first call to me And then from there, we will pull which cards and see what else Spirit wants to bring through for you for the coming month. All right, the first deck, or oracle deck that I'm drawn to, is In Dreams. I haven't used this in a hot minute, so let's go ahead and see what messages want to come through with this deck. Spirit, what other message would like to come through for this collective in their coming month? What information would you like to give this collective for the coming month? What other messages would like to come through for this collective in the coming month? Spirit. Okay, I'm feeling called to stop. Number 2. That's beautiful. It almost looks like, yeah, piano keys. I'm almost seeing like, it looks like music coming up, right? It looks like the piano keys, and it looks like music coming up. Looks like there's a harp in her hair. There's music, the music of your life. Looks like a key, an internal key to write your own music, to listen to your frequency. But let's see what this has to say. Let's see. So this one's straightforward. I like to read from the book, but it says fire to play. So the card is play. And then there's fire and there's action. So that could be that forward movement that's coming through. Let go of your biases. If you let your past go, it doesn't mean that your past will let you go. This feels like, and thank you, Spirit, for the confirmation, again, stating that those past versions and those past patterns that, you know, we kind of ingrain into, we need to actively work to consciously make choices away from that sort of thought process and way of interacting through your life, right? You've learned those lessons. So now when those past things come up, triggers that set off that type of things, in this case, that indecision comes in, you now have the knowledge, right? You have that key, right? I'm seeing this key here. You now have that key inside of you on how to deal with that situation. You have the fire to play through, okay? You can then, okay, and I love that I heard the frequencies and the bells and the higher position and the higher vibration, right? To now play through and create new music. You are the creator, okay? You are going to be creating new pathways and new ways of working through this world, and you are going to be this creative, amazing, you know, and then this doesn't have to be, well, I'm not a person. No, you are a creator of your life. You are. So, you know, you could be artistic, or you could be, you know, a musician, or you could be a writer, or a woodworker, or a metal worker, or you just are creative in how you express yourself in your world, however it is that this manifests for you. Or if it just, this is the choices you're making, so you're creating your life. That makes you a creator, full stop, right? I'm taking a left instead of a right. I decided to, you know, make a pizza from scratch and eat it. Or, you know, however it is that you move through this world, you're creating the music and the symphony of your own life, working in these higher vibrations. You're making the notes. You're creating something new. This is you. This is you and the beauty of your life manifesting and coming through in this beautiful play, in this action, in this fire, and this new version of yourself. We're not living in this space anymore. The universe is inviting you to fully step into this new you that you've been working on and nurturing, so that it moves you into new pathways and new versions and new ways of dealing with things as they come into your life. And when you deal with them in different ways, you're going to get different results, and you're going to move to places and be in situations that you never even dreamed of, and it's going to be amazing. So thank you, Spirit, for that confirmation. The next book I was drawn to do is Colette Baron Reid's The Crystal Spirits. So let's go ahead and shuffle and see what else wants to come through here. Okay, Spirit, what else wants to come through for the collective to know what they have to look forward to and what's coming up for them in the coming month? a little glimpse into their upcoming month. What else wants to come through for them, collective? What wants to come through for the collective, Spirit? What else would like to come through for this collective in the coming month? What else would like to come through? Ooh. What else? Okay, I'm feeling pulled to stop. Tiger eye. Beautiful. I'm drawn in this picture to the tip of the pyramid emanating light and connecting through to a higher source. And this almost feels like you yourself as the temple and the connection. Let's see what this card has to say. Let's see what else wants to come through. I'm going to read from Colette's guidebook. Let's see. Okay, let me get this sorted. I'm making a mess. Can you see that still? A little bit. Okay, we'll just put this over right now, and then I'll fix it later. A little bit of the tourmaline kind of splintered and fell on the cards, and I just feel called to share. Every piece of you is beautiful, and every piece of you has built and paved your story. So in loving all of it and nurturing all of it and integrating and growing through everything, you have the beautiful collection and connection and story of you. But let's get back to this card. Tiger's eye. Okay, it says essential meaning. Positive willpower, optimism, and the power to manifest essence into form, clear purpose. So remember, I said you were manifesting that, or you're the things you've ever dreamt about, or you've manifested everything you have dreamt of, or the things that you haven't even, you're manifesting, you're pulling it in, you're moving forward, right? So thank you, Spirit, for that confirmation. Everything, including our planet, began as an idea in the sea of infinite possibility before becoming manifest in the realm of form. And the conditions you see today are the result of intentions created in the past. Know that in this moment, okay, you have the power to begin co-creating something new within the conscious universe or with the conscious universe. You have what it takes to do what it needs to be done. You have what it takes to do what needs to be done. So with that clear intention in mind, take a deep breath, roll up your sleeves, and begin the work for its manifesting time. Tiger Eye Spirit reminds you not to get distracted by the largeness of a task, as you have the conscious universe working with you, sending allies and messages to make the job easier. Maybe that's what it was, piece by piece, right? I don't even know if you can see it. There's two little dots of that tourmaline that broke apart here. So perhaps it's telling you to break things down that feel overwhelming into pieces, and that could also be with the pyramid, right? I don't think everything was just plopped in. It was done piece by piece. So you managed to get to where you're going and manifesting by just taking things a step at a time. Thank you, Spirit. Like the mountain goat ascending the peak one step at a time, thank you. You can let go of your worries and just look for the next foothold as you begin the manifestation process. Prepare the soil for planting. Crack a book that will educate you in this next phase, and get ready for some powerful manifestation energy to partner with you. Relationship message. Tiger Eye's spirit message is that someday is today, and the right time is now. No wishful thinking. Act to make your wish manifest. Remember that asking someone to dance, doing that music, that dance, right? Asking someone to dance isn't asking them to marry you. So be brave and take that first action towards connecting with someone you feel drawn to, that fire, that play, right? Bringing that other card back into it. Tiger Eye Spirit's energy of manifestation is with you, and something very good promises to come from the courage that you express. Be optimistic. Love and its modes of expression are looking for you right now. So step forward. You will be glad you did. And again, take this if it resonates. If not, go ahead and leave it, right? This might come through for some, might come through for all. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Prosperity message. This is the perfect moment to take action towards co-creating wealth. For Tiger Eye Spirit is giving you momentum for manifestation. There's that forward movement, that chariot. I'm moving you forward to destinations you haven't even thought of, or maybe you've always dreamed of. Make your move now with your eyes open, remembering that the intentions you have set may coalesce in the realm of form in unexpected ways. Abundance is yours, and today the energy of wealth creation is strong. Work with it, respecting its power as you build what you imagine, claim, and deserve. Okay, you deserve that love. You've done that work. Move through like the divine, powerful being and healed being and continuing to heal being that you are. Yeah? Crystal Spirit Meditation. Tiger Eye carries the energy of fire, action, and earth, physicality. And I think this was fire as well. So you're getting a lot of fire here. Wonderful. And you know what? You've had the water, you've had the fire, you've had earth, and you've had a little bit of air. So this feels like a very grounded reading. You've had a little bit of everything. So the universe is at your side here. This is the perfect stone to align with when trying to manifest dreams into being. It brings energy and vitality to your process while keeping us focused on completion of tasks, resulted in grounded action. There you go. There's that grounding action again. Beautiful. So this is wonderful. It feels like in this coming month, the work that you've been doing and loving yourself and setting those boundaries and continuing to heal and move forward and nurture, right? And loving yourself and thus releasing that vibration out of love to yourself and thus love to the universe, right? It's taking you to places that you've never been. You're being advised and invited to release those old versions and continue to do that work, right? They said to release that old version, to recognize it and to make a different choice, to choose to move through this, any triggers that come up in a different way, any indecision, any self-doubt, right? We're not going to go into that same thought pattern of what was. We don't exist as that person anymore. We've learned that lesson, right? That's, the same as if, you turn on the stove, it's hot, you touch it, you get burned. The next time you turn on the stove, you've learned the lesson of that's not how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to touch it, right? You take those lessons of the things that have happened before. They served a reason. We don't have to say, oh, it was so horrible, I got burned. We say, okay, what did I learn from it? Well, I learned that's hot and I don't want to touch it. So that's not how I'm going to choose to move forward in this next thing, right? You have that free will and you have that decision making. So you're being invited to release that, to interact with those things that come up in a different way, from a higher perspective, from a different sound frequency, from a different vibration, okay? Take it a step by step at a time. Those pieces are all beautiful and they've led to where you are, but now you're moving forward with great speed to manifest and create what you want. You're going to move with that fire. You're going to play. You're going to make music, okay? You're going to create in ways that are beautiful and melodic. There's a flow here, okay? This is going to be the jazzy time of your life. It's starting now. So no, you're being invited to start now, to take those steps, to manifest, to bring into alignment, to bring into reality that strength, that structure, that abundance, that relationship, that job, that life trajectory, that home, whatever it is that you're wanting to bring in. You've been doing the work and you've got this. The universe and spirit is inviting you to have that confidence and to know it sees you and it's got your back, okay? It's got your back and it's going to come together to create this beautiful foundation, this strength, this, I think they said the triangle is like the strongest structure. So yeah, like you're being invited into creating a future and a version of yourself and experiences that are solid, that are foundational, that are loving, that are high vibrational, that are fiery and beautiful and everything you could have dreamed of and more. So that's exciting. So I'm very excited for you. This sounds like a wonderful month you have ahead. The beginning of the steps, take it piece by piece. We're going to leave out those old ways of functioning and we're stepping into that divine creator, okay? Because you've done the work and the universe sees you. So that is amazing. I'm sending you lots of light. I appreciate you being here with me. If you're interested in a personal reading, please do check out my Etsy or my Ko-Fi. The link's on the next slide. I appreciate you. Thanks again. Sending you lots of light. See you again next week. Bye.